It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.
This puppet show stays on because of you.
Welcome to the She's So Right Show. We are two conservative women called by Christ to speak up for what's right.
Lindsey Graham, known nationally as the Patriot Barbie, is a proud author, public speaker, and brave political advocate for freedoms, rights, and conservative values.
Brandy Barkley is a powerful Christian leader and founder of Power Soul, certified Christian life coach and public speaker, forging God's battle cry to strengthen believers.
Guys, get ready to say it way more than you're used to. She's So Right starts now.
Freedom fighters, are you tired of giving your hard-earned money to big corporations who use their power against us? We are done. As conservatives, the best and most effective way to vote is with our dollars. You can shop with all our favorite companies, sponsors, and affiliates right on our website.
Go to www.shesorightshow.com and click the shop page. We are proud affiliates for MyPillow, My Patriot Supply, and other conservative brands. Get massive savings. Go to shesorightshow.com. Join us in supporting American companies.
Good morning. Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock on Sunday, allegedly.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You guys are chilling after church, I hope. We are here with special guests today, Ben and Tiffany Eneas. Ben and Tiffany both grew up. What?
He made a face when you said his last name. I love it.
What? Did I say it wrong?
What's your last name?
It's Eneas.
It's fake anyway.
It's fine. It's
Eneas.
Yeah, we made it up when his parents made it up.
Oh
when
my
he came
gosh,
to
you
us.
guys.
That's
I've
awesome.
said this last name like 5 times. It's like a
It's
mental
whatever
block.
you want it to be.
Seriously.
Eneas.
Keep good.
It's 2022.
Eneas. We got to say it 5 times.
Hand me
Ready?
the phone. I'll read the bio.
Shut up. Lindsay's she's not invited anymore, you guys, by the way. We're kicking her out. Okay. They grew up in Christian homes and were both firstborns, but the similarity stopped there. Tiffany was raised in the comforts of America in the 80s, and Ben was waiting in bread lines, being raised under the communist rule of, Ben, what is this? Ceaucescu in Romania.
Ooh.
By the grace of God, the
Eneas.
Thank you. Family would find their way to the United States as well. Ben and Tiffany ended up in the same private school, and literally after junior high, the rest is history. They were married at 19 and have been married 21 years. They have 2 beautiful daughters, left the Northwest to escape the gray skies and the oppressive politics that went against their beliefs. Now they're here in sunny Arizona, loving freedom and sunshine. And so we can't wait to talk to you guys because of the state of everything right now. And all I'm getting in my messenger is, what about Ukraine? And what do I think about Ukraine? And to be honest, I feel like I can't even make a judgment or make a comment because I feel like we're inundated with such bad information that how are we to know?
Right.
Can't trust the media.
Can't trust.
Can we trust you, Ben?
We can trust Ben to tell us a little bit about what you see, because I would trust someone like you who's lived over there and understands a little more. Am I wrong? Or
No, I think that's actually correct. It's the people on the ground that we need to be praying for. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are impacted. They're the ones that are dealing with abject poverty. And all the talking heads and all the politicians, what we do know about them is that they were corrupt before. They're probably corrupt now. And we're probably being lied to.
So how long did you live in Romania?
I was 7 when we moved over.
Oh, okay. So you probably had just a view of what your family endured, less of like an involvement as an adult.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Just a little bit of background of my family. A lot of my mom's side went to prison their crime being Christians.
Okay.
Communist
Don't a little bit about you.
Yeah,
we're here to
start
talk
there.
to you, Ben.
Let's start there.
Yes, let's talk.
A name
Let's
that
have a whole conversation
A name
about
that
that.
might be recognizable is Richard Vermbrand, and he has a national ministry called The Voice of the Martyrs. And actually, a movie just came out about his wife and their life called Sabina, and that is Ben's. I mean, this is Ben's Christian lineage. I mean, it's pretty. He'll be humble, but I'll just throw that in for him.
Let's pretend you're not humble, Ben.
Tell
us about this.
So wait, will you say that again? Richard who?
Vermbrand, WURM brand.
Brand. Gotcha. Okay.
And the movie is called Sabina.
Sabina, yeah. And I'll send you his book, Voice.
All right, you guys, this is really interesting.
Tell us about that lineage.
He's actually my mom's godfather. He was good friends with my grandparents, who were heavily involved in the Protestant movement within Romania under communism, which was not very favorable. Basically, what ends up happening under communist dictators, information is very important. So they want to know who's meeting, what are they talking about, what do they say, and you can be imprisoned for that. There's instances of cousins reporting that so-and-so said that German planes are better than Russian planes. You go to jail.
Wow.
It's literally that's what happens. So the Orthodox Church was allowed to grow because they were very open about, they were kind of in partnership. So it was, we report everything. The Protestant Church allegedly didn't report. It came out years later, I think early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, that actually a lot of the pastors were reporting, and that's how they were able to kind of survive all that, which did lead to a lot of people being really church hurt, actually, because they thought they were in a safe place and they were actually being reported, and they had family members that suffered greatly because of that. So
you're saying, when you say reporting, you're saying the pastors are ratting out their community.
correct.
Wow.
One of the big ones is actually in Oregon. We're both from.
I
from,
picked up
so.
that Northwest thing.
Yeah.
So where are you guys from? And where were you from? In
Gresham.
Okay.
So we actually were.
There's a lot of people on our show from Oregon.
I know.
I mean,
well,
it is
because
like
I was booking the guests.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the first time I booked the guest, and you still are from Oregon?
Well, my 15-year-old knows who you were because we were sitting on our couch in Camas, Washington at that time when you were on the news.
Yeah.
Like in real time, not how, I mean, maybe people know the story now. We were watching it real time when it was happening to you in Salem.
Were you like, who, like Arsenio Hall?
I mean, yeah, we were sitting on our couch pissed, but yeah, of course. So wild. Anyways.
So what pastor is from Oregon that, did you say a pastor that was ratting people out?
No. It was
Yeah.
It
A
was.
pastor
in Oregon?
that was from Romania ended up a Pentecostal preacher in Oregon.
Who is it?
I don't want to mention his name.
Oh,
He's dead anyway.
Google
Okay,
it.
wait a
Okay.
minute.
He
This
died.
went from being, so moved to Oregon.
He was accused of treason while he was in Oregon. He finally got called out. I think there's another book
There was a
about
book.
that
I think
too.
it's in Romanian though.
And yeah, I think it is in Romanian. We need to get it translated.
Learn Romanian.
Okay.
Why? It's their drama. We
Yeah,
have enough of our own.
so anyway, really, isn't it amazing? So
Full circle.
when you're saying your family, you could be put in prison just for talking. So your family decided to leave. How did they, if they can go to prison for talking, how did they leave?
They applied for a green card. My grandparents were granted one. They finally made it over here when I must have been really young, and maybe 2. And because my mom got married and had me, they had to file a new one. Thanks, Carter. We had to wait another 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I'm a really big fan of open borders. That we should suffer under that, but we should just walk across the border whenever we want.
Yeah,
that seems totally fair.
I said sarcasm.
There's heavy sarcasm
Okay,
right there.
I'm
It's my
like,
love language.
Because they had to do it the
Attention
right way.
listeners, this is sarcasm. We do
Yeah.
not support open borders.
No.
Repeat.
I'd go back even a little bit further, not necessarily with what your grandparents were doing, but even with what your mom was doing. When we went to Romania, we went to the high school where Ben's mom was put in the courtyard during the middle of the school day, and the school was sitting there telling her, you can't go back to class until you reject Christ.
Oh my gosh.
You need to tell us that you don't believe in Jesus
With
anymore.
all the staff and all the kids sitting there making fun of her.
Making fun of her in the middle of the courtyard. This is what his family endured. People,
Not just our family.
Every family.
No, but I'm
Oh,
saying
so
that's what it was. But
how
I'm
did
saying
that showdown end? What happened?
she never did. She stood solid.
for
His
her.
parents they're unbelievable.
I've been blessed.
It's so amazing to have them, and just they kind of give us we've always had like a dose of reality. His mom's been watching the country turn communist, America, since the 90s, and we've been laughing at mom and, stocking up and doing all this weird stuff that now
it's totally normal and probably reasonable.
Yeah, come in my garage, see how much ramen noodles we have. So it's like...
Hey, if you go on my Patriot Supply...
Oh my gosh, the shameless plug.
Prepare with she'ssoright.com.
Yeah.
You get $100 off all that food that lasts for years. And
we might need it sooner than we think.
You're going to need it. I'll write that down for you, Ben.
So she's watching, they're watching the shift. So they've been there, and we didn't laugh at mom, but we kind of dismissed it because we were so comfortable, right? Like
apathy.
So much apathy. And
is
we're
mom
learning.
Still alive?
Oh yeah, mom's here. Mom just moved to Arizona.
Now she's really freaking out.
I met her. I met your parents.
Yeah.
Boy, now she's really freaking out, huh? She's like,
She's
I told you guys
escaped
so.
communism twice.
They live out in Santan. They went way out. Okay. So they're out.
Generator style if they need to go off grid.
I think their generator has like 7 different ways of getting paid. Oh, yeah. Like we're not kidding.
I'm going to call you when it all goes down.
Yes.
When gas prices hit $15 per gallon.
Oh my gosh.
It's
seriously.
wild.
So Ben, when growing up with your family, knowing that because they've always thought it can happen. And I think this is why we are exactly where we are. I think that the apathy still exists, that we're Americans. It can never happen to us. And I mean, I really hope now that people are waking up to the fact that look at what's happened in a year. Look at the fast decline of where we are when, and again, am I an expert here? No, I don't think any person is, because I think there's an elitist mafia underground stuff going on where none of us know. And so, like your parents, we just have to prepare for the worst and really ask ourselves, like, why are we commenting on everything happening over there when I don't think we know what's happening here?
Yeah. Well, we need to be worried about what's happening here. We need to be preparing our children, because our children, this isn't going to end unless Jesus comes back, which Lord help us. I hope he does. But we need to be preparing our kids, because if it's this bad in our lifetime, imagine how quickly downhill it went.
Yeah.
Imagine in the next, 10, 20 years, if Earth still exists, what they're going to be enduring. So we need people like your mom. We need to raise our kids to be like your mom, to say unapologetically, without a doubt, there is no point in which I am willing to deny Christ in order to get food, get water. For moms, it's very, very scary, because I don't think it's about me. I'm happy to starve to death in order to not deny Christ. But when you think about your kids and going, okay, am I willing to do it to provide for my kids?
Well, think about it with the COVID. We're going to go out a break right now. But when you think about COVID, and then you think about these people putting chips in themselves so that they can swipe into buildings. I mean, this is the stuff 10, 20 years ago when you thought of Mark of the Beast. How is this going to happen? Look around. Look how quickly that they can keep you out of a store or keep you from buying gas.
Yep.
So you guys, you're listening to the She's So Right show with Brandy Barclay and Lindsey Graham. And our special guest today, Ben and Tiffany. And we'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back to the She's So Right show. Check us out at she'ssorightshow.com. You're here with Brandy Barclay, myself, Lindsey Graham, and Ben and Tiffany. We are talking about communism. Ben escaped it at a young age, how to look for the warning signs that it is indeed happening right here in America, how to prepare your families for it, all the things, all the very, very scary things. So you guys had a couple stories about losing your power and electricity and the control that the government has over everything that we think is safe and secure and a God-given right. The government is actually controlling. And when we don't comply, we've already learned, they can take or punish or, fine or whatever for not complying and take those rights away from you.
Well, we just watched it happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we literally just lived through the scamdemic.
Yep.
So we know that they can and they will and if we all let them. So, Ben, explain to us a little bit about what happened to someone you knew. Who is it? Your brother?
That was my cousin.
Your cousin.
Just a really sweet kid, really smart kid from early on. The government would turn off the power at night, so it would get very cold. We're by the Black Sea, so very cool climate where it freezes in the winter really hard, but in the summertime it's really hot. It's a beautiful place to visit.
Why were they turning the heat off at night?
Well, Ceaucescu, the dictator, he actually built the People's Palace, and it's the world's second largest building.
Okay.
Next to the Pentagon. So a country the size of Oregon, roughly, with 23 million inhabitants. I'm sure that it justifies having that kind of a building. So all of the goods would be exported in order to pay for it, and they save money wherever they could, including you guys can just bundle up with blankets.
Wow. Okay.
And one of the nights, we believe that his brain actually literally froze, and he actually dealt with.
His sister was cold.
His sister was
cold, and he gave her his coat.
Yep,
you said
his blankets, and he literally froze, and his brain was impacted for the rest of his life.
Oh my gosh!
He's still incredibly smart. I don't think I ever beat him at chess.
Still?
He's so
Still.
sweet.
Oh my gosh!
But his motor functions were totally impacted. I'm not sure what the actual condition would be, but he struggled in a lot of things and getting words out, but his brain would work really well. Really smart with computers. He actually ended up
so
dying.
it like just affected part of his brain, like motor function.
Yeah. He ended up dying, I think, two years ago, if I'm not mistaken, from cancer.
That's another rabbit trail, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
one.
ton of Chernobyl stuff that his family dealt with too. So
I'm guessing there was no repercussions to the government for literally murdering one of their own citizens, right?
I'm sure it wasn't
Like,
just
you can't
one.
file a
I mean, if you're
lawsuit
turning off the heat at night, I'm sure people were
like it's
dying.
a risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's less mouths to feed, probably.
Yeah.
So,
Population control.
it's really a horrible thing, and I don't even know where to begin with it. It's so sad because the abject poverty that the most citizens lived under was just really gross. But then you'd have Mercedes and you'd have, all the bureaucrats driving
Well, it's
around.
kind of like what's happening now. They're really demolishing middle class so that you've got the elitists who take care of the peons however they want to and however much they want to, and create this completely dependent class of people so they have full control. I mean, that's what they're creating, this great divide. They say they're for the middle class. They are not for the middle class because they are hurting middle class, and they want everybody on this welfare system and this whole, again, equity thing, right? Where everyone's even Steven. No matter what you do, you all get free everything. Well, how about you guys, right? Are you guys getting free gas? Are you guys getting free school? Are you getting didn't we all learn that in kindergarten? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Isn't that like the first lesson you learned? It's coming from somewhere. People tell me, I was just telling on the break that people are messaging me on Instagram. Well, what's your stance on Ukraine? I don't have a stance. I don't think we have information enough to have a stance. I don't think our government is giving us information. I don't think the news is giving us information. I think it is the most corrupt thing in the whole wide world that for some like you said, we should be praying for the people in the middle of the crosshairs between Russia and Ukraine and United States, whatever's happening there. But the government, right now the Ukrainian president is being hailed this hero. What do you have thoughts on that? I don't even know what to think about it.
I mean, it's kind of odd because wasn't he, the Ukrainian government's kind of known to be one of the most corrupt in the world up until 2 months ago?
And now he's a hero.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too because on social media, which is right where we spend a lot of time and people spend a lot of time chit-chatting, they will say things like, well, he's no hero, so why are you praying for Ukraine? And it's like, well, okay, why are we all responsible? Why are the people of Ukraine responsible for what an idiot their government is? Could you imagine if America got bombed right now and it's like, well, you're all Biden supporters. And it's like, I'm not. Don't bomb me. Why are we suffering for the choices of our government? Why are they in so much control that the people that they're supposed to protect, they're making decisions that harm their people?
Well, and that's what we're praying for. And
Should be
I
praying
think
for him,
that's
too.
all.
Yeah.
Literally, as Americans right now, all we should be worried about is the innocent people. You're constantly going to get lied to. Look what you posted yesterday, the guy coming out of the body bag because the news didn't cut off at the right time. And that's what Ben's mom was saying. We didn't even watch the news in Romania because everybody knew that it was a
Propaganda.
production.
Yeah.
It was all movies. It was all fake. And literally we don't even turn on any news, not even either side, because we don't know what's real and what's not. And Ben's mom is always telling us it's all literally staged, almost all of it. But what is real is, I mean, I've been waking up every morning. I sent another $100 to Gio today. So we have a friend in Romania that was like, I don't know what to do. Like, we're right here. His friend was literally, they saw people throwing guns into trains. This is real. Like, because they're like, we have to help protect them because if they go down, then we go down. And it's the people, that are fighting. And so we've been sending money. They're taking, he's taking his own Sprinter van. So there's a group of us that keep donating money every single day, and we're sending it right to Gio's Venmo because they're on the ground going. And that's all we can do is help the people that are there.
Right.
So even sending, like, renting out Airbnbs, that's a huge thing right now, and hoping that's helping. Airbnb is getting half of that money. Like, if you're going to do that, call the person that owns it. Get boots on the ground.
Yeah.
We got to quit worrying about businesses. I mean, I'm not even sending to big corporations, nothing. You've got to figure out who the people are. There's a lot of people like Ben that grew up in communists and under communism and that know people that their families still live there. Find Americans here that are from there and then figure out ways to help because we will never know the truth.
Well, there is, I'll look up the website, but there is, so the person I was telling you guys on the break, Joseph Bondarenko, his son Daniel has a ministry that he's already had for years and years, and he's donating money directly to the people of Ukraine. And this is controversial, believe it or not, on Facebook. I got attacked for this. But he's taking the money and donating to the people that are homeless, fleeing, no food, no water, nowhere to go, running for their lives. And it's called the Good Call Ministries.
Awesome.
So if you guys want to look that up, I'll find the website for you. I'm pretty sure it's thegoodcallministries.com. But
see, well, how does that money get to the people and they not intercede it? We just had this issue with the GoFundMe's with the trucker convoy. I mean, when the government gets their mind around it, can they just go, no, we're taking it?
Well, that was a crowdfunding platform, so the government has. This is not.
This is directly to the people.
501c3, and they're dispersing the money, so we can trust that.
All right, you guys, we'll be right back. You're listening to the She's So Right show.
Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Freedom Fighters, you're back listening to She's So Right show with Brandy Barclay, Lindsey Graham, and our guests, Ben and Tiffany Eneas. I said it right this time.
Oh my gosh,
Can you
guys, give her
stand
a
it?
candy bar.
Wow. Okay, so on the break, we were talking, and I love that Ben has a personal story with his family. He knows what it's like. He's heard all the stories his whole life about what's coming for us. Really fast, I want to read something from the first secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, circa 1959, Nikita Khrushchev. Okay.
She can barely say Eneas.
Yeah, I can't say Eneas.
Romanian
I gotta say
last name. Hand me the phone again.
No. So he says, ready? Your children's children will live under communism. You Americans are so gullible. No, you won't accept communism outright, but they will keep feeding you small doses of socialism until you will finally wake up and find you already have communism. We will not have to fight you. We will so weaken your economy until you will fall like overripe fruit into our hands. Remember, socialism leads to communism. So how do you create a socialist state? There are 8 levels of control. Read the following recipe. I won't tell you the whole thing, but number 1 is healthcare control, 2, poverty, 3, debt, 4, gun control, 5, welfare, 6, control education, 7, remove religion. This is class warfare divide, eliminate middle class, tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. This is what the Democrats have been up to for a really long time. And if you don't think you're being manipulated, you're really being manipulated. You guys, I want to hear you talk about how this manipulation is happening and how on the break, Ben, you said, what can we do now? Like, what can we do? Or do we have any control, or is it all a farce that we have any control?
My personal belief is that we don't have a lot of control anyway. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to package it and spin it and make it seem like it's for the greater good. And people are pretty naive. They just believe that it's going to be great forever and that there's nothing, the price has already been paid, so it's going to be like this forever.
I actually think there's plenty of naive people to make it work. And there's plenty of people so fat and happy, if you will, letting someone tell them what to do. That way they don't have to think about anything. How many people were so happy with stay home, stay safe? Like, no, that was not fun for me. I don't want to stay home and I don't want to stay safe. But so many people were like, well, it's just easier to take that information. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think for myself. I don't have to make any decisions. I don't have to research anything.
And I can just be a
tell
good
me what
person.
to do and I will obey. And then I know I did
I'm
my
a good
part.
person.
Yeah.
So
And
they
you know what?
just
I
get their
saved your
good-
life.
Yeah,
little
they
thing.
get their good person T-shirt. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a good person because I complied and I saved everyone's life because they told me so.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary is there's going to be too many either naive or complacent people overcoming the people that are willing to fight back, because it's much easier to be complacent than fight.
Well, and if there's this information war where we literally cannot trust information, how do we discern what to do? I mean, we're being censored right and left, right? All over, even social media. When something gets out, share it quick, guys.
Yeah,
Because
before it gets
it's going to
deleted.
be shut down. We can't trust the news. It's all held by the big elites. I mean, Ben, I kind of agree. Like, what can we do other than prepare?
We should prepare, but we should also be passing on. Don't rely on others to teach your kids. We should actually keep ourselves informed, but with as much real information as possible. Ground yourself in biblical truth and use that to kind of help decipher what's real and what's not. And also, don't be so, if there's a flashing light over there, it doesn't mean you have to go to it. I mean, we've known for years now that the media has been lying to us and manipulating us, giving us different things that they want us to focus on. And all of a sudden, because of this Ukraine thing, everybody's watching the news again and sharing it like it's gospel. And I'm so confused.
So
How do we forget?
true. Did you guys put your Ukraine
Thank you, yeah.
flags up in your Facebook post so that you're a good person too?
They manipulate us by tugging our heartstrings.
And if you don't, then what?
Well, you're a
And
bad
you're
person.
Not a good person.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I guess means we can discount anything you have to say about anything because you're obviously not a good person.
Right. So she can't be trusted.
Which is really terrible because now we've created such a chasm between people that we can't even find middle ground to discuss things. Because I do believe that most people that I'm not ideologically in line with, they want the same thing. They want the best for people. They want America to be well. They want the world to succeed. But the route that they're going only leads to poverty. It only leads to misery.
Well, and as Ben tells us that we have very little control, and as depressing as that is, I'd like to read a scripture.
Okay,
If I
we have
may.
30 seconds. How much?
John 16:33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world.
Amen, sister.
We don't need to be in control. We don't need to worry about it. We need to do what God calls us to do. Be strong, raise strong children, be right, stand firm, and God will take care
And
of the
cling
rest.
to the one who does know.
Cling to the Bibles and guns.
Woo! That's our motto, people.
We'll be right back. You're listening to the She's So Right Show. Follow us on Instagram at She's So Right Show. Be right back.
We're back listening to the She's So Right show, and in the house we have Ben and Tiffany Eneas. I said it right again.
Good job.
Guys, it's so weird, right? Why am I on the radio? It's super weird. Anyway, we're gonna talk about there's crazies on the left and wimps on the right. We've got so much going on that, Lindsay and I, you guys, our show's called She's So Right. It means we're conservative. I wouldn't even like to call myself a Republican because I think there's so much gross stuff happening all over the place. It's not just the leftists. And Ben was saying that he believes the left wants what we want. They want world peace. They want people to be happy and fed and off the street and clothed and everyone to kumbaya. We know as Christians that the word of God says when there's world peace, Jesus is here. Mm-hmm. So we have a more of a realistic, I think, take on things, and that, if you work really hard and put yourself through school and have a good job and do all the work, you shouldn't be paying for the kid that stays in his basement, calling for mom for his meatloaf.
You're talking about Hunter Biden right now?
Yeah. And you know what?
That's a crack pipe.
Again,
not meatloaf,
yeah,
That's
he's
right.
not asking for meatloaf.
He doesn't know the difference. He's so high. Trust me.
Right? But it's, let's just give a little more. In fact, a woman reached out to me. I want your guys' opinion about this on Instagram, saying, well, Brandy, if we have to pay a little more in gas prices to help Ukrainians, I am willing to do that. So that's the new thing over the news is our high gas prices are because we're helping the Ukrainian people. Am I hearing this correctly?
Yeah, no, I saw some things on that this
That's
morning
really
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
So OPEC is actually donating to Ukraine now?
I mean,
You heard it here first.
this is but this
Heard it
is
here on the She Said
the
Right.
propaganda coming through the TV where people think, oh, I can pay an extra $50 a gallon or a tank.
So we have equality with Ukrainians now.
Uh-huh.
It's all socialism with Ukraine.
I'm thinking, where are you getting this information and why are you trusting it? Why are you still trusting it? Tiffany, you were going off. Talk to me, sis.
Oh, well, I was kind of hitting on the.
Oh, because we said
making
Bibles
stuff
and
that-
guns.
Bibles and guns, yeah. But just, I think on both sides, people making weird things into religion. I think everybody's looking for hope, right? I think that's the bottom line. I think COVID scared the snot out of people because you're afraid to die. If you don't have hope, then dying's super, super scary.
Yep.
And now it fills your God hole, right? When we all have God-shaped hole, and that's God needs to fill it, nobody else. But during COVID, a mask
Was your hope?
became your savior.
became your
a
savior and
religion.
became a religion. And I was kind of laughing at the Bibles and guns, not because I don't love obviously my Bible, and we really love guns too, but that's why we live in Arizona and not Washington anymore.
That's right.
Because we want to be who we want to be. But I also was saying people are going so far left, so far right, so far wacky with whatever they're doing. I was saying it's offensive. Jesus wasn't hanging on the cross with the American flag on his back.
And America is not the
It's not the
savior
end
either.
all.
We are not the savior of the
No.
world either.
No. So there's got to be common sense. We've got to find not necessarily common ground, but there's got to be something's right, and we better find it.
So
Well, and that God is sovereign even above country. I mean, I was challenged, Tiffany, when I got into this place. Brandy, be really careful because, there's only one God and it's not our country. I just want to be super clear again. God is far, 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 far superior to anything we're ever talking about. That being said, if a thief is coming into my house to kill my family and rip my family off of food, I'm going to kill that enemy.
100%.
Does that mean that I love my family more than Jesus? No. Does that mean I love my house? Does that mean I love guns more than Jesus? No. It means that's called having wisdom, you guys.
Right.
The Bible says ask for wisdom. It is probably the most blessed prayer of all to stop asking for stuff, stop asking for things, stop asking for everything to go cushy cush for you. Ask for wisdom because God will give you eyes to see things that the world will never teach you. And I think that that's where you guys were going with this is we can't trust anyone else. We can trust God.
Right. 100%.
that's the only religion, if you will.
Yeah.
True religion. So it matters. And going back to what you were saying about people are trying to make, they took COVID and made it, science is a religion.
Right.
And Brandy and I have tackled this very tender topic. Sexuality is a religion now. Like, why are
Oh, gosh,
the whole
yeah.
LGBTQ community has made their entire life about who I have sex with, what I do with my genitals.
I said
like, that's-
if your crotch controls your entire worldview, that could be your problem.
Yeah. And
Like for real.
That's
and
a super
the
fair
term,
statement.
the term that we're trying to avoid is Christian nationalists. Is that the word?
I think that they fall into the category of I think that's the only category that I can say that they fall the furthest if we're going on the cuckoo meter. I think you're going to find the people that have gone too far with it. But essentially they're people looking for hope. But now you're hanging your hat on making America right and making it safe again, and you're so gung-ho on, we might just be going through a lot of turmoil for the next 20 years. It might just be really hard, and it might just be a big shaking, and we might just need to find our faith in the middle of all this stuff.
I think that's what it is, honestly.
And that's okay. We might not solve it.
Right.
The country isn't going to say, and in the end of that, to me, is you think the country's going to, that America is going to save you.
We don't have this little bubble over us.
It's not.
Once we get America right, okay, we're safe. Like, no
I
one
believe
can bomb us
people are
or-
always looking for comfort. And I think they're always looking for a cushy place. And to be honest, I mean, I think about the 80s, they were pretty comfortable. I mean, like, things were chilling. You're watching MTV, riding your bike. You know, like, what's the big... Yeah, there was stuff always. The world... I mean, what's that Billy Joel song? The world has always... Like, we didn't start the fire, right? It's always been turning. It's always been burning, and it will continue until Christ comes. But I think that there's this part of us, especially maybe in our generation, it's like, gosh, the good old days before 9/11, you know, things were pretty chill. And things have never been the same since 9/11. Things will never be the same after COVID. And like you said, I think our God is always saying, get off the fence. Where do you stand?
Yeah.
And who is really God to you?
Yeah.
I was going to say there was the Cold War, so there was actually quite a lot of angst for people that were probably a generation ahead of us.
Yeah,
because we were
exactly.
kind of kids in that time zone. But at the end of the day, the media is trying to divide us and demonizing the opposition. When in reality, I do know I have a lot of liberal friends. I don't consider myself to be a liberal, obviously. But if I get an opportunity to talk to them for long enough, I kind of see their heart. They want the same thing I want. They're just going about it a different way. I disagree with that way. If I want to teach my kid how to be successful, I don't do that by every time you need help, here's $50.
Right.
Right.
I'm going to teach you how to go make $50 so that you can go ahead and take care of yourself. Because at some point, I'm going to be gone. That's the life lesson. I'm not sure
That's
why.
biblical, Ben. What you just said is biblical. The Bible says...
Teach a man to fish.
No, that says that each man carry their own burden. That's biblical.
I would want my family to not be a burden on others. They need to be able to take care of themselves.
That's right.
Now, whether that's self-defense, whether that's economically, and then be a good neighbor and take care of those around you. But you can't do that if you can't take care of yourself first. So I'm not sure why a lot of these liberal policies tend to lean in such a weird way, because you wouldn't teach your kids that way. It wouldn't be successful, and you want your kids to succeed.
Well, I can tell you one part of it is that's why they're pushing the word privilege so much. That's why they're pushing the racial divide is, oh, I would love to teach my kid what you've taught your kid, but you were born into privilege. See, my kid doesn't have the same abilities as your kid. So therefore, because of your privilege, right, he's like, oh, new topic.
No, I love
Because
that.
of that, because of the privilege that you have, you know, you kind of owe my kid. You owe my kid a little bit of your privilege.
I love privilege.
It's
Being an immigrant, I really love
Right?
to hear about how privileged I am as a white.
As
I
a
actually hit
Romanian.
other.
Yeah, Ben will
Uh,
not.
'cause
Ben
it
will
just
not put
offends
white
me.
down.
I grew up with an outhouse in my backyard. They literally turned off electricity. I had middle of the night as a little kid. It's terrifying to go use an outhouse. That's how I grew up.
Imagine.
So for anybody
But
to
you're a
tell me that
white
I'm
male in
privileged,
America.
it's offensive.
That's how you look.
And-
so
and don't-
So isn't that racism? I feel the same way. I'm Hispanic. I grew up pretty poor, but I look like a blonde Scottsdalian, and people assume I'm a privileged woman. And it's like you're assuming exactly what you don't want assumed about you. It's
You're
it's a
judging me by
racism,
the
just
color
the
of my
same.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any scholarship opportunities.
Benny came with $20. They had
My parents came with
$20 suitcase. As soon as Benny stepped off the plane at the Portland airport, he stopped and posed for a picture. It was a video camera. Ben didn't know what a video camera
no
was.
idea what that was.
He was standing there smiling, and they were taking video. He had no idea what a video camera was.
They laughed at me for years.
He didn't know what a banana was. He had never seen a pineapple. They landed in Italy, in Italy.
Couple day layover.
And he was seeing fruit that was never brought to Romania ever. He won't eat licorice to this day. He hates root beer. There's things that these things
It's disgusting.
he doesn't know children's stories.
Licorice
he doesn't
and
know.
root beer are disgusting.
Absolutely.
Okay, why? Why do you say
Licorice
that?
is
He didn't
nasty.
have that. Like he didn't
Oh,
know.
so it's like super sweet. It's like you didn't have that kind of super sweet. What do you mean?
Is it sweet? No, I don't.
It's disgusting.
I
is
mean,
what it
black
is.
licorice?
I,
don't
I
know.
love it.
I'm
Listen,
kind of down.
I know.
And root beer, if it wasn't bad for me, all day.
equality is a funny thing for us. It's like well, we came with $20 and we love golf in our Range Rovers, and he overcame all that. I don't do anything, so it's him that did all the work. You can have anything you want. Ben's parents came and
don't want any responsibility for their own actions.
Right.
Though. I mean, I have friends that in high school, they worked really hard when I was being a screw off, and they're really successful. I don't hold that against them. I'm proud of them.
That's
'Cause
right.
They actually invested in themselves instead of just taking what was fun in the moment. I mean, granted, I think I'm winning because I married my wife, and we were dating at the time. But I skipped a lot of classes to hang out with her. That kind of stymied my opportunities.
Well, you know, I think about now is you've got these, I'm going to say leftists in these universities. I think anybody at an American university is privileged. I don't care what color you are. You're at an American university and you're in the corner with your violin saying how everyone else is privileged. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, and the same people claiming, well, I lost my train of thought because then you went on the university.
Oh,
thing.
it's my
Gosh,
fault.
Darn it.
It's my fault.
Oh, the same people that were.
I love how she even blames that on me. It's hilarious.
I had it
Randy,
and then you started talking.
You kept talking.
I was being polite and I wanted to let you talk. But it's the same people that were, again, content with stay home, stay safe. They're content with, why should I go out and work really, really hard? Because I know that eventually I'm going to get a little piece of what you're working really hard for.
Right.
Because America is headed that direction. And if you've got the comfort in knowing that eventually I'm going to get free health care or, Obamacare was crazy. Why work hard when I know that someone else is working hard and eventually I'm going to get a little piece of that?
Right.
But what they're not seeing, to kind of bring it back full circle, is that there's going to need to be a bureaucrat that controls how those funds are dispensed, what job gets dispensed to who. Now, what family did you come from? What are your beliefs? What's your social score? That will dictate what opportunities you have by what school you can go to, what jobs you're qualified for, and therefore what housing you're allowed to have, because it all goes that way.
Yep.
When
Your
the government
social score.
owns
I love how you're saying that, because right now with these little devices in our hands, they have us all mapped out. Who's who, who's what are you doing, what are you shopping, where are you eating? These QR codes are like the little, we've got you, we're following you, and now you have to use them everywhere, which I refuse, by the way. I'm always like, give me a paper menu, and no, I'm not taking your quiz. But it's, we've got these little things and we're not willing to give them up because, God forbid, we can't take 20 pictures of our food today. It's like we're being followed and we're being socially tracked. And so that when they decide to let the hammer fall, they're going to decide who it falls on.
Right.
But the same people that think it's okay, they're not realizing that
Someone is going to control your life.
Right.
You think there's equality, but someone's going to tell you, no, your skill is that you're a handyman. So guess what? Get out in the fields, bro. And that's what you're doing. That may not be what you want to do, but guess what?
And
that's
you
what
can
we
go
decided.
against us, and then you can become a citizen of nowhere. Ben was literally a citizen of nowhere. They didn't have Romanian
our
citizen.
citizenship got
It
stripped.
got
So I couldn't go to school until I
No.
made it here.
You could sell flowers on the side of the road.
You
maybe like his
guys, I
mom did.
mean, if this doesn't make you realize where we're headed, I don't know what will. You guys have been listening to the She's So Right show. Thank you so much, Ben and Tiffany, for being here with us. We hope to have you guys back.
Thanks for having us on.
God bless America.
God bless you all.
now.
It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.